SuperNova versus CoCa.
Daedalus Point, the map choice of CoCa, and starting to the top left we have SuperNova with an incredible game number one. A lot of harass against CoCa, got into a very good position early on already and then finished it with this first push with siege tanks, banshees, and of course a few Hellions and Alberts to support. Great game by him, and CoCa struggling a little bit against his Terran opponent. Now he is playing on Daedalus, and let's see if he can make that work, if he is able to bring us into a third game in this series.
You know what, he doesn't have curly hair today, but it still looks excellent. Just want to point that out.
He gets an early scout out, by the way, with a drone, because this is one of the maps where you're always a little bit afraid that your opponent might go for something like super cheeky and just go in and, I don't know, double 11 you.
Yeah, I mean, why not? It's a tough map for Terran versus Zerg, so...
Yeah, so you always want to know what's going on, and that early scout allows you to, first of all, find out what's happening, and then second of all, of course, harass a little bit with the drone, and maybe even kill an SCV.
He actually might get it. It was so close, but good pull here by SuperNova. He will probably... He doesn't have to repair in this case because he's got 10 hit points, and
should just go
already
home
out of here. Yep.
Oh, nice! I like that. Did you see that? He actually stopped building for just a second to get another hit in with the SCV. Yeah. And that was very, very close.
Almost got it there.
Yeah. That was a good one.
That's a finesse of SuperNova. He's really, really good.
Yeah, so the difficulty for SuperNova in this particular match, or on this map, is going to be to secure his natural. It's not as difficult for Terran as it is for Protoss, but especially with his mech style, he should be able to just secure this base. And we might see a very similar game to game number one. At least he could approach the map like in a very similar style. Yeah, Banshees out there trying to defend with the Banshees at the beginning, and then switch into siege tanks, siege up on third and on the natural, and make sure that he pushes out. But the harass is going to be one of his biggest assets.
Definitely so. This map is pretty far for rush distance, but he's going to do the same build so far. He's got the Reaper, first Reaper coming out. I think he'll send the second one as well. He's got enough gas to do so. And
another point to consider is we have talked a little bit about that it's more difficult for the Terran player to secure himself that expansion. At the same time, that's true for the Zerg as well. Think about the run bys that we saw in game number one with all those Hellions. SuperNova really trying to get into the main base and into his opponent's mineral line, and that is so much easier for him on the natural that we see on Daedalus Point. And in game number one, he arguably should have done a lot more damage with his initial Hellion run by into the main base, but CoCa reacted very well, defended absolutely incredibly against that. And here it's going to be a little bit more difficult for CoCa to do that, because a simple building is not going to wall off his mineral line at the natural, so it's very difficult for him to pull that off. That might work in SuperNova's favor.
Yeah, this is a lot of damage being done to one of those drones. He almost got it. He's actually trying to, but now he's just going to get chased back, of course, by those Zerglings. It's so awesome to see this little poking in the early game. I like to see things like this where you see both players' micros showcased in an offensive and a defensive manner. See CoCa tries to get the surround here with two Zerglings, not able to do so. And the second Reaper is on the way. Factory is going up, second gas going up. Keller, I think 100% we're going to see the exact same opening from SuperNova here. He's just going to go into Banshees right after this. And actually, he might be able to hide that from the Overlord a little bit longer this time. Only 6 resource loss for CoCa. That was from his extractor cancel, so he's not lost anything yet.
Now you're just going to try to keep him busy and of course have a bit of an eye on what exactly is going on in terms of gas and everything else. And here we go. The starport has been started, the barracks is making its way over to supply the tech lab, and we have the base also done. And if I were SuperNova, like, why would I actually change up what I did in game number one? It worked absolutely beautifully well, so there's no reason for him to really go for anything else. Once again, the Overlord sees what's happening here, but that wasn't a problem for SuperNova in game number one, and I don't expect it to be a problem in game number two either.
Don't think so either, yeah. He's actually, he gets the Overlord in time to see this, and SuperNova doesn't try to hide it at the bottom left, and even if he did, the second Overlord's already waiting there, so not going to be able to hide it. But yeah, it wasn't a problem in game one. This is a matchup now where mech is a standard build. It's no longer a strange thing or a wow, he's meching, what are we going to see, or what does this mean? It's like basically standard. And in Korea, for this year, we've seen more mech than we've seen bio in this matchup. It's just like a solid style. And even though I feel personally this isn't the best map for mech, it's still something where you can make mech work. And SuperNova not changing it up here, I like that. And he's going to be able to do the same type of pressure in this game that we saw in the previous map. This time, CoCa has his third hatchery started. We'll see if he can defend it. His creep is already extended pretty far towards that hatchery. I don't think he's going to have to cancel it or anything like that, but SuperNova is going to poke a little bit.
Yeah, I've actually seen a lot of mech on this map in particular already. I casted the qualifiers for WCS America and WCS Europe, and a lot of Terran players on this map went for mech strategies. And it's really funny because you can end up in a split map situation on this map, since if you expand then down and you establish yourself with more siege tanks, this happens quite easily, that you suddenly have the Terran player taking one half of the map and the Zerg the other, and then it results in very entertaining games, I have to say.
Queen's getting off creep there for just a second. He's really trying to force his cancel on the Hatcher. I don't think he's going to get it, even with the Banshee. There's so many Queens here, but CoCa has to be like very diligent.
The thing is, as soon as the hatch is up, he can transfuse.
Yeah.
But he needs the energy for the queens as well, so he needs to be a little bit careful here. Every single hit point that is taken away from a queen is working in favor of the Banshee that is now moving in. That's a lot of units that SuperNova has.
That Spore Crawler is so important because without it, he wouldn't be able to hit the Banshee. He still can't hit the Banshee currently, though.
He will lose this base.
I think he will.
I'm pretty sure he will lose the base.
Actually, you're right, because he doesn't transfuse. He transfuses his queen. Spore Crawler is moving right now, but it's going to take too long.
It's either losing the base or losing the queens, and both would be absolutely horrible for him. Those Hellions should move in once again. They can do a lot more damage here. Here comes the second Spore Crawler already. But if the Hellions, they actually
could just go to the main base
go in the main base here. Yes.
And this is a disaster for CoCa. He's not only going to lose the third base.
The hatch. The hatch is down.
Yeah, still gets the third base, and now he can just kill all the drones here. Go into the main base as well. Banshee doing damage here on the ramp, no matter what the way you look at this. And
what are we seeing here? Exactly what I talked about earlier. Daedalus Point, of course, leaves the Terran player's natural open, but the same is true for the Zerg player's base. There is no potential for a wall here that he could use in his advantage and just block the Hellions out, and that is exactly what SuperNova is exploiting here. He's going in, he's about to take another queen, he might kill that, there is no transfuse, he killed so many harvesters already, 16 in total, no mining for CoCa. CoCa is on the ropes already.
Yep, drones being killed here at the natural. I feel like SuperNova is going to try to escape with this. GG!
Wow! SuperNova!
Oh my god, this is why SuperNova is getting out of the group today. I've never been more confident in a player getting out of a group as I am with SuperNova getting out today. Like, I think he's going to get first place in the group. He's destroyed CoCa in Game 1.
This was pinning Vitaly Klitschko in a boxing match up against a 2-year-old. That's basically what just happened. He just knocked him down cold in 2 matches without leaving CoCa a chance. That was crazy.
Yeah, CoCa just... he had no chance. He literally just had no chance.
CoCa chooses a map where he knows that it's difficult to defend for a Terran player, but it looked a little bit like he didn't account for the Terran player to just turn things around and put CoCa in the spot where he's the defender. Because if you have any other map, let's say I don't care which map you choose, but you can nearly on every map you can wall with a double evolution chamber.
Yeah.
If you are in a lot of trouble, you build a triple evolution chamber and wall off completely and kill that later or cancel it. But in normal cases, double evolution chamber, single double queen, just walling off the rest, and then the Hellions can't get in. If you're super afraid, you build a Spinecrawler behind this. But right now, the third is being attacked. He does a beautiful...
He sends all of his queens over there.
Yeah, SuperNova does a beautiful job with the Hellions, with his Banshees. The queens are there, and then suddenly SuperNova looks at it as like, first of all, my Banshee is going to kill your third, no matter what you do right now. And I think your natural and your main base are wide open, so bye-bye drones.
Exactly.
And that's game.
Game, and a very nasty one. Very, very scary SuperNova play that we saw there. Like, both games, just total domination in the early game, just showing that when you're opening up mech, like when you're starting things off, that Hellion Reaper Force, plus the Banshees, just does so much damage. You have to have your queens ready, all of them. And he brought all of his queens over because he was desperate to hold the hatch. He thought maybe he could save it. I thought he was going to be able to save it. It was so close. And then suddenly all of his queens are far away, and the Hellions and the Reapers just run by.
He also skipped the Roach one, so we had no Roach one, no Roaches, and this series just showed that right now SuperNova is the better player. He outclassed CoCa in that series.
In every way possible, basically.
And I'm still very excited to see CoCa play later, but right now that was a beatdown. And we are going into a short break, guys. Then we have match number 2, so stay tuned and we'll be back in just a few minutes here at the GSL Code A.